Chapter 4. The Princess. Some days later, Aladdin went to the market to meet the honest silver trader. Suddenly, a messenger came into the market square. The messenger called out to the people, "Listen carefully to this message from the Sultan," he shouted. "All men and women must go home and shut their doors. All shops and market stalls must shut at once." Aladdin was surprised. Why did the Sultan want everyone to shut their stalls? "The Sultan's daughter, the royal princess, is going to visit the baths today," the messenger continued. "No one must see her. Anyone who tries to see her will die." "The princess is a beautiful girl," said the silver trader. "I want to see her," said Aladdin, "but I don't want to die. I will find a place to hide." He left the market and ran to the baths. The big wooden door was open, so Aladdin hid behind it. After a short time, the princess came into the square. She rode in a gold carriage. It was pulled by 4 white horses. The princess climbed down from the carriage, and as she went into the baths, she pulled her veil away from her face. "She is the most beautiful girl in the world," Aladdin thought. "Her eyes are as black as the night, and her face shines like the sun." Aladdin was in love with the royal princess. He thought about her all the way home. "I'm sorry, Mother. I can't eat anything today," he said when she brought his lunch. "What's wrong, my boy? Are you ill?" his mother asked. "No, I am in love," Aladdin replied. "I am in love with the royal princess. I want to marry her." "Are you mad, my boy? You can't marry the princess," said his mother. "Why can't I marry her?" Aladdin asked. "Because you are not a prince," she replied. "The royal princess will only marry a prince. Your father was just a poor tailor." "But I am a rich man now. I'm as good as any prince," said Aladdin. "I will give the Sultan a present. I will give him something wonderful. Then he will think that I am the best man to marry his daughter. But what can I give him?" Then Aladdin had an idea. "Mother, do you remember the wonderful fruits? I brought them back from the caves." "I remember," replied his mother. "I will give them to the Sultan," cried Aladdin. "But they are only made of glass, Aladdin." "No, they are not, Mother. They are made of precious jewels," Aladdin said. "I have a friend at the market. He is a jeweler. I showed him the fruits, and I know that the red apples are rubies, the plums are sapphires, the peaches are diamonds, and the green pears are emeralds." Then Aladdin got the jewels and put them on the table. "Look at them, Mother," he cried. "Aren't they beautiful?" They are a good present. I think the Sultan will like them," she said. "Will you speak to him, Mother?" asked Aladdin. "Will you take these jewels to the palace and give them to the Sultan? Tell him I want to marry his daughter. Don't forget, we have a magic lamp. If he wants more presents, I will ask the genie." The next morning, Aladdin's mother wrapped the jewels in her best shawl and set off for the Sultan's palace. In the great hall there was a queue of people, princes, servants, and people from the town. They all wanted to speak to the Sultan. When the Sultan came in, everyone stopped talking and bowed to him. Then he sat down and called for the first person in the queue. All day, people told the Sultan about their problems and asked him lots of questions. There were so many people that there was no time for Aladdin's mother to speak to him. She went home. When Aladdin saw that she still had the jewels, he said, "Mother, what happened? What did the Sultan say?" "I didn't speak to him, Aladdin. There was no time, but I will try again tomorrow," she replied. So the next morning, Aladdin's mother went back to the Sultan's palace. But once again, there was no time to speak to the Sultan. This happened every day for a week. At the end of the week, the Sultan said to his vizier, "Who is that woman? She has come here every day this week with something that is wrapped in an old shawl." "I don't know," replied the vizier. "Perhaps she wants to complain about some small thing. Bring her to me. I must find out what she wants," said the Sultan. A few minutes later, Aladdin's mother knelt in front of the Sultan and kissed the ground. "You have been here every day this week," said the Sultan. "Please tell me what you want from me." "I have got a son called Aladdin, Your Majesty," she replied. "One day, he saw your daughter, the royal princess. She was going to the baths. Aladdin fell in love with her straight away, and now he wants to marry her." The Sultan smiled. Then he said, "Tell me what is in your shawl." So Aladdin's mother unwrapped the jewels and showed them to the Sultan. Their light filled the hall, twinkling reds, yellows, greens, and blues. "What wonderful jewels!" cried the Sultan. He turned to his vizier. "What do you think?" "Yes, they are wonderful, Your Majesty," the vizier said. "I think a man who gives me such wonderful jewels can marry my daughter," the Sultan cried. But the vizier didn't look very happy. "Your Majesty, don't forget your promise." "My son will marry your daughter," he said. "But my son is not a rich man at the moment. Please wait for 3 months. Then my son will bring you a present to match these jewels." The Sultan looked thoughtful for a moment. Then he said, "All right, I will wait." He turned to Aladdin's mother. "The vizier's son will never find such a present," he said, "but I don't want to upset him. Go home to Aladdin and tell him that he can marry my daughter, but he must wait for 3 months." Aladdin's mother went home and told Aladdin the news. "That's wonderful! Thank you, Mother," Aladdin cried. "I can wait for 3 months." "Be careful, my boy. I think the vizier will make trouble for you," his mother said. "He wants his son to marry the princess." But Aladdin didn't listen. "I am the richest, happiest man in the world," he cried.